Sacramento County Jail. A massive facility, packed to the rafters with trouble.
I've been stabbed 5 times, died, had to get revived at the hospital.
He said that we burned a swastika off the side of his neck.
Seems like a nightmare, like a bad dream you can't wake up from.
Sacramento's a big jail with a big problem. With fewer officers and more prisoners, it's increasingly chaotic and dangerous. With inmates trying to keep it together.
Remote control device that keeps me tuned in directly to the mothership.
And officers who fight to keep things under control each and every day.
You don't come into my jail and tell me what to do you understand?
Welcome to the turmoil of Sacramento County Jail. It looks like any other office building downtown. But this one has bars. Sacramento County Jail. 2,500 inmates jammed into one skyscraper. 8 floors packed with the capital's most unruly citizens. Gangbangers and drug addicts crammed together in the rec rooms, sleeping on the floor, in a building filled to capacity and beyond. Friday. On the ground floor of the jail, Deputy Wade of the booking department is taking in a new batch of prisoners.
It's Friday night. It's about 12:40 in the morning. We have a full house here. I grew up in Sacramento my whole life, and I had no idea that this many people were incarcerated in a day.
80 arrestees have been brought in the past few hours.
Tonight, standing room only as it is right now. Everyone's temper's kind of getting up. It's hot. It's hot down here. Drunk people are starting to roll in, people that have been assaultive and combative.
Get down, make room. 5 fit. All legs, get down.
They've been charged with everything from kidnapping to traffic offenses. There's only one constant. A lot of them are angry.
Bald head.
Best thing you should do, Larry, is just sit here and be quiet.
Shut up, I ain't gotta be quiet. Freedom of speech, what Martin Luther King told me to do.
Okay.
They try to push your buttons, and they try to basically rattle your nerves.
Move up off me, I will sit down.
One newcomer has a bad attitude.
Stuff hiding.
He's refusing to cooperate.
You ain't Cause I ain't did nothing to you. I was real nice. But now you get your boy I got about fuck something.
Now you're in my house, we're gonna do it my way.
Now I'm gonna pants down?
You're not gonna bang on my door, not gonna bang on my windows, and you're not gonna start any fights in there with anybody.
Good?
Go in there and have a seat.
There's zero tolerance for acting out here. Sacramento has been hit with big staff layoffs, so there are fewer deputies to handle all the inmates.
We laid off 122 deputies last year. We're looking at laying off another 20. We're short-staffed here, and we usually start our shift probably about 10 to 12 people already short.
And in any jail, fewer officers means much more danger.
Make a left around the corner there and have a seat on the wooden bench.
Up on the 5th floor, deputies are inspecting a cell with a pool of blood, including Deputy Shelton, senior gang intel officer. Short-staffed, deputies arrived after the damage was done.
The inmates recognize it. They know that we're understaffed. Absolutely, they know. A couple of them have actually said that, yeah, there's less officers, we're going to be running amok.
A 23-year-old inmate named Ronnie Lewis has gotten into a fight. In jail on a domestic violence charge, Lewis says he's new to the penal system. The Norteños, the predominant gang here in Sacramento jail, had been trying to recruit Lewis. But when Lewis exchanged words with gang members, things turned violent.
They cold me, trying to drive me. Didn't work, so I started beating them. Started fighting all of them. How many were there at first? 6. They stopped me and then they all ran over.
Do you know who they were? Do you know themselves?
I'm not gonna say who they are.
Well, I already know who Sully is, so.
Okay, but I ain't gonna say who they are because I'm that's snitching. Like, that's completely snitching.
Lewis will confirm only one thing. They were members of the Norteños. Deputy Shelton needs to figure out just where Lewis fits into the gangs.
I don't know anything about it. They can't tell me the things because I wasn't a northerner.
You're not a Northerner?
No, I'm not a northerner. I don't know anything about this. I told them all cowards. Can't fight one-on-one. Like, my mom told me, like, she's like, I didn't raise you like that.
According to Lewis, he teased his cellie and got jumped by 6 guys. He says he's a trained boxer, but even for him, it wasn't easy to fight all of them off.
They were trying to recruit me.
So why did they jump you then?
Yeah, they jumped me because I called their cellie TCH.
So basically, you got green-lighted by Nortes.
Yeah. I didn't want to fight this boy. I came back in trying to go back into my cell.
At least you hit with the right knuckles.
Can you make it fist? That's how far you can go with that?
Up there so numb. Yeah, it hurts the worst.
Shelton moves Lewis to a temporary cell. He thinks the young inmate may be in for a hard time with the gangs.
From what we've gathered so far, it looks like the problem came in when Mr. Lewis called the other inmate name. Because Mr. Lewis isn't a fully cleared Norteño, he's not really allowed to do that. You're not really allowed to go up against another Norteño that outranks you. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
For Deputy Shelton, the Norteños and other gangbangers present a constant problem. With fewer officers and many of the inmates in gangs, Shelton tries to anticipate trouble before it happens.
I'm looking for gang members.
A former paratrooper in Iraq, he's now fighting another war.
I hate gangs. They anger me. These guys have all this potential and they use it for bad. They use it to go out and commit crimes. They're basically terrorists.
Recently, Shelton has been hearing some disturbing rumors. New violence may be brewing in the jail. He can't tell if it's gang-related, but he's heard an attack may be in the works. On the 7th floor in the female wing, Michelle Vasquez is waiting for trial. Vasquez says her childhood included a sexually abusive father and a teenage meth addiction. Now she may spend the rest of her life behind bars.
I'm here because somebody accused me and my husband and my mom of a lot of really bad things.
Vasquez, her husband, and her mother-in-law are all in jail. The charge? Holding her mother-in-law's ex-boyfriend against his will, beating and torturing him.
He was saying that me and my husband and my mother beat him repeatedly with handguns while he was handcuffed, kicked him with boots in the face.
Vasquez insists that she's innocent.
It's really, really hard to swallow, but it carries a term of life in prison without parole.
Here, 4.5 months awaiting her court date. She hates being separated from her husband.
My husband, he's a teddy bear, and he's my teddy bear, and I love him dearly.
Vasquez's attachment to her husband is clear. It's written on her skin.
Property of villain. I'm very proud to have this tattoo. It means that I gave my whole entire being to him. He is the best husband any woman could ever ask for, the best father any child could ever want.
As for her kids, she hasn't seen them for months.
I don't want my children to see me in this place. It hurts really, really bad to think about my boys.
Their preliminary hearing is coming later in the week. That's when the judge will decide if there's enough evidence to go to trial. A 28-year-old construction worker, he's facing serious charges along with his wife.
In the discovery, it says took captive somebody for 22 hours, and during which time beat him, pistol whipped him, and burnt him.
Phillipson claims he and his wife are being falsely accused.
I don't even know how it's being held for trial. There's absolutely no evidence in this case whatsoever. All there is his word.
He claims he's being railroaded based on his appearance.
That's kind of what the DA's banking on. They see the tattoos and everything, and they think, we're going to convict this guy on his appearance. They're going to try and paint a picture of hate. I can't tell you that there's not one tattoo on my body that represents hate.
Phillipson insists he's no gang member, and he can't believe he's here in jail.
Went from 3-bedroom house, 2.5 bath, 2 dogs, 3 kids, 2 car payments. White picket fence right next to the park. That's where we were a year ago from today. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere it just went south.
It's not just his future hanging in the balance.
If I lose this battle, everybody that I love loses. Me and my wife, we've been together 12 years. She is the best thing that has ever happened to me, ever. There's nothing I wouldn't do for her. I would die, I'd lay down in a second for her. Wish I could wake up from this dream. Wish I could wake up, be there with my family.
Up on the women's floor, Shelley Miller is one of the inmate workers in the jail. They provide crucial help in a facility that's low on staff.
It's our delicious soup. Would you like some?
A 52-year-old mother of 2, Miller knows all about serving up lunches. Only here, she gets time off her sentence for doing the work.
I feel that I'm really lucky to be able to be chosen. We do a lot of cleaning, but you know what, it's worth it.
Miller has a hearing coming up to find out her sentence on a burglary charge. This isn't her first stay behind bars.
In 1996, I was arrested for same charge. I ended up going to CRC down in Norco, and I did a year down there. Got out of there, did a great parole, got right off parole, started my own business, did really good. Economy went bad. Now I'm back here in county jail.
But for Miller, the real issue isn't her felony charges. This 52-year-old mom is hooked on methamphetamine, a highly addictive psychostimulant.
I thought that I could handle it again. You know, everybody thinks that, but you do it once, and then next thing you know, it's 7 years of every day getting high. Every time I do it, it ruins my life.
Even worse, her own kids are hooked on the drug, and she helped pave the way.
I treated them as friends, even after they were adults. I should have never let them into my world.
Miller remembers exactly how it happened.
After the first time I went to prison, my son was just really upset about it, and from that point, he just started getting high.
And now those kids are in and out of the penal system themselves.
My son, he's in prison because he did the drug too, and he did his first term in Pelican Bay. That's a bad prison. You know, that's a bad, bad prison. My daughter's done county time, that's all she's done. Doing drugs together, we got in trouble together.
Miller knows just how badly she's failed.
I should be home making cookies for my grandkids. And yeah, I cry. I cry a lot.
Now she needs to get her act together if she's going to have a chance at her hearing. In the aftermath of his fight, Ronnie Lewis has been housed in a temporary cell. The Norteños are still interested in recruiting him, and the gang may offer him the best protection in an overcrowded jail with a shrinking staff. He'll have to make a choice soon. Any more fights may lose Lewis his visitation privileges.
I really want to get my visit. My woman, that's one person, you know, I want to see.
His on-again, off-again relationship is at the heart of his charges. His girlfriend accused him of domestic violence, stating he bruised her in a dispute. But Ronnie says that she was clinging to him as he tried to leave.
I wanted to leave, so I took her cell phone, her favorite thing in the world. So I tried to leave with her cell phone. And even it says in my report, he didn't kick, slap, or punch me.
Not only that, he says his girlfriend has been coming to visit him.
My girl had seen me on the 15th. She came and see me and broke the restraining order, telling me she loves me and all this stuff the day she comes and sees me. And the whole time when she came and visited me, every time she would look at me, she would just teary, crying. Like, you could hear the actual tears hit the thing, like, hit the metal pan. Like, and the whole time, like, she would not look me in my face.
Lewis and his girlfriend have a daughter together.
She's my firstborn baby. She's 5 years old. This girl is amazing. Like, she talks like she's like 15.
With his hearing coming up, he's confident that his girlfriend will drop the charges.
But I love her, though, even though all this is happening.
But things may not turn out exactly as Lewis hopes. Nearby, Deputy Shelton of the Intel Unit picks up an emergency call on his walkie. Officers in need of assistance. An inmate is out of control. It takes half a dozen officers to handle this one prisoner safely.
All right, when we go inside, get down on your knees and lay down.
The inmate refused to follow instructions. Shelton knows how threatening a hostile inmate can be.
It can be extremely dangerous. The worst types of crimes, homicide, murders, things of that nature.
But he's even more concerned about rumors of planned violence against officers. On the 7th floor, Vasquez has been trying to get in touch with her husband. Their preliminary hearing is only days away, but they're forbidden to write letters or even talk to each other. And while the facility is co-ed, Vasquez and her husband are housed on separate floors. But here in Sacramento, she's learned there is a unique way to connect. It's called toilet talk.
We call it the phone. When someone wants you to bail out, they'll go, "Hey, answer the phone. Number 13, someone's on the phone for you." It is our phone. It's our lifeline.
They actually communicate with each other through the toilet. Because of a quirk in the plumbing lines, the toilets function like tin cans on a string. As Vasquez demonstrates.
I haven't quite mastered this fully yet, and I always get my pants wet, so it's really kind of comical.
First, you have to empty out the water.
What it's doing is it's building back pressure. You're pushing the water back up through the pipe that's there. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my trusty little socks here, and then you take it and you empty the rest of the water. You can talk all the way down to only the 2nd floor. We are on the 7th floor. 5 floors down. Always wash your hands, especially because you're playing in a toilet. Yeah.
Then the lines are open to chat with friends.
Mary. Yes, ma'am. Hi, sweetie. What are you doing?
When I went down there and they did the x-rays on my hand, the sergeant that was down there, he told me that they're closing down the branch for all the females.
You can get in trouble, even taken to lockdown for this toilet talk.
I'm gonna flush my toilets video, okay?
But for her, it was all worth it recently, when she talked to her husband for the first time in months.
I was talking to him through this toilet and got really emotional. I have my face buried in the toilet, crying my eyes out to my husband. Get caught. The officer actually wanted me to switch cells, and I flipped out because I felt like I was losing my husband again. You know, and I didn't go willingly, that's for sure. I mean, I got twisted up.
Vasquez can't wait until she can talk to her husband again. Deputy Shelton of the gang unit is constantly monitoring prisoner communications. He's been hearing rumors about an upcoming attack. Details are sketchy, so he's been combing through these tiny secret notes known as huelas. They're written reports by Norteño members in Spanish and English. Some are tracking informants. Some are ordering hits.
These things are a goldmine of information.
One thing the Whalers are always vigilant about tracking: the officers.
They're doing counterintelligence on us just like we're doing intelligence on them. So they're going to keep track of what shifts are more lenient, which officers are more likely to give them a break, which officers don't do shakedowns as often, which officers don't do thorough pat searches.
Tracking exactly how many staff members are on duty at any time than the state itself.
We have found certain whalers that have indicated, this floor is running solo. They catch on when there's only 2 officers on 8 West, when generally there should be 3. So it kind of makes them more aware that, hey, we're not going to get shaken down as often as normal.
The Whalers lay out the chinks in the jail's armor, but they don't give Shelton the clues he's looking for about the rumored attack. He'll need to keep his eyes open. On the 7th floor, Shelley Miller, the meth mom, is preparing for sentencing on her burglary charge. Her hearing has been scheduled in the next week, and she's really anxious about getting out and starting again. Miller's had a lot of days when she can barely cope. She's overwhelmed with guilt about her children.
I feel like I've ruined their lives. My son probably wouldn't be in prison if it wasn't for me.
She's trying to come to grips with what she's done.
If I could take back what I've done, don't think I wouldn't. I'd take it back in a heartbeat.
Right now, she's working hard to be a model prisoner. She says she's hoping to make it up to everyone for what she's done. She just has to convince a judge she deserves a chance to start over, that her habit won't win again. Monday afternoon, overcrowding at the Sacramento County Jail is reaching the crisis point. Prisoners are packed into pods, some literally sleeping on the floor. Now 120 inmates will be shipped out to a branch facility. This is where they're heading, Rio Casamez Correctional Center. They've already got over 2,000 prisoners, but more keep coming.
If we're going to do 120 people in there, that's probably bringing us up to 4.
At Rio Casamez, Sergeant Gorham gets the word about the new arrivals.
And then get them ready.
He has to redeploy his officers, and some of the inmates too. Back at the Sacramento County Jail, the inmates, a mix of gang members and ordinary prisoners, are ready for the move. They call this transfer catching chain. And this is the chain they catch. They're cuffed and locked into the links and loaded onto buses. It's 30 minutes by freeway to the branch facility. This is the way jails used to be. Barbed wire, barred cells. This will be their new home.
The main jail's been overcrowded, so they were forcing inmates to sleep on the floor, so that's something that we can't do. Last year, we took a substantial cut in officers and loss of officers, and then this year, with more budget cuts coming around, they were looking to try to cut more officers, which really didn't work. So we're back at square one, trying to figure out on how they're going to keep officers on the street and officers in the jail.
Bronco Maestrich, one of the inmates at the branch jail, pays close attention to new arrivals. For him, it's a life and death matter. A former Norteño himself, he's been a marked man ever since he decided to leave the gang.
Once you drop out, they put you on a hit list. I already been stabbed and shot. I'm still here.
A long-time convict, he's currently serving time on a parole violation on an earlier assault charge.
I was accused of shooting someone who raped my little sister in the head twice.
Bronco grew up running the streets with the Norteños.
I hate gangs so much. I feel like that they've been a strong part of ruining my life, man. I'm totally against all of it. I was in Northania. Well, it started out for me as a kid just running around with my friends, and, stealing cars, selling drugs together. When I came to jail, I didn't know nothing but them, I started seeing it for what it is. It's all about controlling drugs in jail, controlling people in jail. They send us out there to do the removals.
Bronco still wears the markings of his former existence.
Stars are stabbing. Every star you get is for a hit in jail or prison.
But even with so many hits in his past, he wants to leave the Norteños behind.
I regret all of the tattoos. I regret the whole life I lived. These are Mexican tattoos. I'm not even Mexican, and now that I'm not a Norteño no more, I'm just stuck with these tattoos on me, and I gotta deal with that.
Now he's just trying to keep clean and stay out of trouble with the gangs. At the main jail, overcrowding has made life tougher for Deputy Shelton and the gang unit. More Norteño members coming in means more gang recruiting.
We do have a very large Norteño population. Our predominant gang is going to be the Norteños.
Ronnie Lewis is still trying to work out his gang status to decide if he should become a full-fledged Norteño.
Follow this officer right here, and he'll take you back over to your stuff.
For now, he's heading to another temporary cell.
215.
Lewis has been talking to an ex-Norteño member who advised him to steer clear of the gangs.
He said, bro, if you continue with them, you're gonna be in jail, from jail, jail again, from there, prison, from prison, to longer prisons, to bigger prisons, to maximum prisons, to PCW. I could see from the experience of having just a quick intermission of being with him and then them doing what they did to me for nothing really, over somebody saying, you're a bitch and you're a bitch, and coming outside and yelling, and he has more seniority than me because he's been here longer. So you jump the person who's like more like innocent. It was just like kind of dumb. So I realized if they do things like that over dumb things.
Lewis decides to shun the gangs and focus on his girlfriend and his daughter.
I don't want to have to go down to the bottom floors. I don't have to mess with anybody. I ain't planning on being with no Norteños. I ain't planning on being with nobody. I don't care about any gang stuff anymore.
Now he just has to avoid the gang members and the fights if he doesn't want to end up here for a whole lot longer. Earlier in the week, Michelle Vasquez and her husband went to court for their preliminary hearing. The good news for Vasquez was that after months, she saw her husband again.
We rode together to court. Was able to smell him, kiss him.
The bad news for the couple, the outcome of the hearing.
They decided if they have enough evidence to go to trial. And it's really, really been bothering me. My heart is beating so fast right now, I feel like I did yesterday.
In the courtroom, the charges got graphic.
I just can't believe that I had to sit there and not say anything to this guy as he was up there pointing fingers saying this, this, and this, and he said I had pistols, or a pistol as well, and repeatedly hit him in the face with this pistol. He said that we burned a swastika off the side of his neck with a blowtorch.
The court testimony stated they tied him to a chair and worked him over for a whole day. According to Vasquez, the victim, her mother-in-law's ex-boyfriend, is fabricating the charge.
He contradicted himself like 100 billion times. He deserves to be here, not us.
Vasquez says she's worried her husband's appearance may work against him.
People that go to church every Sunday, and pray to God every night are going to be on that jury, and they're not going to understand him at all. He's very intelligent. He's a hell of a guy. They won't be able to get past the tattoos.
With charges of aggravated mayhem and torture hanging over the couple, the future looks more and more grim. And with a trial date finally set, Vasquez and her husband are now in it for the long haul. Deputy Shelton has gotten some details on the rumored attack from an informant. A distraught inmate is apparently planning to go after officers with a 9-inch shank. And the short staffing may make his plan easier.
It is making the inmates a little more brazen, because we're already running short anyways because we're low on officers.
Sentenced to 14 years in the pen, the inmate intends to assault as many officers as he can before he goes. It's time to bring in the jail's emergency response team. It's kind of a SWAT team behind bars. They have to take the inmate down, and fast. Tuesday, 11 a.m. It's an ordinary day at Sacramento County, except for one big problem. Deputy Shelton has gotten word that an inmate is making plans to kill an officer.
Fill in the middle, gentlemen.
With a nasty 9-inch shank, all in retaliation for his long sentence. The emergency response team prepares for a preemptive strike. They're going in hard.
We're going to have control make an announcement when we're in position for the target to come out for a visit to make sure that he's not in possession of the shank.
Officer Shelton has the intel on the target and another inmate who may be involved.
Deputy Shelton, you have a picture of the individual inmate, right? Let's pass that around so everybody's familiar with who he is.
Primary target is going to be Anthony. He's the one that's supposed to have the shank. The secondary target is Michael. No write-up history, no game. This is his first time in custody at our facility.
Is everybody good on what your assignments are? Okay, let's
get in line.
The team forms up in the main hall.
I'm going to go to the control room, and you guys are going to be in the stairwell waiting for the target to be called out. As soon as I see him coming, I'll go stand by, stand by. As soon as I see the door close behind him, I'll say go, and then simultaneously, you guys will come through on the stairwell into the pod, okay?
And I'll just chill, go.
Got it.
All right, get your game faces on.
Then it's time to go to work. Three floors up, they wait for the signal. The inmates are just beyond this door. And then it's go time.
Move!
Upstairs clear. What's that?
Clear to start moving.
Okay.
With everyone on the ground, the suspect is taken off into custody. Now they have to find the shank. Officer Shelton knows the most likely hiding spots.
A lot of times we're going to find things in these slats between the frame and the bed frame, usually weapons and small pieces of metal. This is where we most often find the knives and the shanks. They'll take apart the light, fold it down, and then they'll hide things inside the light itself.
In the end, they do make a find, but it's not exactly what they were looking for.
After the search was conducted, we did find some cutting type devices.
But these are just 2-inch razors. As far as they know, the 9-inch shank may still be hidden out there somewhere.
In a setting like this, you never know what's going to happen. We try to train and prepare ourselves for many different scenarios, and it has happened where officers have been attacked.
Facing life imprisonment for mayhem and torture, Vasquez is more anxious than ever. She just learned through her attorney that her husband may be planning a shift in legal strategy.
He wants to send me home right now because of how I feel.
Her husband wants to take the rap, and she's worried he may accept a deal.
I know he's trying to do what's right, you know, the noble thing to do.
Married on Valentine's Day 7 years ago, she now faces the possibility of never living with him again.
There's no way in hell I'm gonna let him take this time for this case because it's too long. You know, it'll be too long, and I can't be away from him that long. Just being here away from him has damn near killed me.
No matter the risks, she can't imagine going home by herself.
I've already told my attorney I'm not gonna accept any deals. We're going home together.
Vasquez says she'd rather be in jail together than free alone.
I don't want to leave without him. If that means I do the rest of my life in prison, then I do the rest of my life in prison.
Ronnie Lewis has been waiting weeks for his hearing in family court. He was ready for his girlfriend to drop the charge so they could both go home together. But this morning, things didn't turn out quite the way he expected.
I woke up at 4:30. I went down to court. So when I walked in the courtroom, she was standing there. She looked one look at me, looked at my eye, and like she began to cry. And all her family was in court. Since she was there, I expected her to say that she didn't want to file with the restraining order.
Instead, his girlfriend renewed the restraining order for another 5 years.
I can't speak to her till 7/20/2015, which would be hard because I actually love the woman. Like, I really do love her.
And now he's going to have to face the domestic violence charges and a potential 3-year sentence.
Man, I just felt really emotional. I said, "Are you really gonna do this?" And like, she would not look me in my face.
Lewis was planning a big reunion with his girlfriend. Now their next date will be in court.
Shut up.
At the Sacramento County Jail, the Michelle Vasquez, Brian Phillipson torture case has taken a turn.
The DA is not offering any deals. Double life, nothing.
Phillipson had a strategy to take the rap. But now both are slated to go to trial in the coming weeks. Husband and wife will be side by side in the courtroom. And they'll likely share the same fate. It's a risk Vasquez welcomes.
My children will know that their mommy and daddy stood proud, you know, and stood up and fought for what they believed was right.
Both husband and wife would rather spend a lifetime in jail than face the world alone.
He's always been there for me. I don't want to leave without him.
I love that woman with absolutely everything in me. She's everything in this world to me.
For 2 weeks, Ronnie Lewis has managed to keep clear of the Norteños. He's finally about to be bonded out by his mother. His trial date is still looming. But now, he says he's got real goals for the first time in his life.
I plan to go to get my GED, going back to school, and be a third-grade school teacher. I want to be more of a attentive dad to my daughter. She deserves it.
He's sure the case will get thrown out. And he has no ill will towards his girlfriend.
You know, I love the lady. She looked beautiful in court.
He says he's looking forward to 2015. And that he'd rather put his hope for the future in his girlfriend than in any gang. Shelley Miller is also hoping to turn her life around. In the coming week, she'll find out if she's going to soon go free. She believes her work time will count to her benefit.
I will have 320 days credit, so I'm looking at about 2 months.
She may be out soon, but she has a lot to deal with. She destroyed her life and her kids' lives with her addiction to meth. Miller plans to make a fresh new start.
My boyfriend and I we're finally getting married. Yay, and we are going to move to Seattle. We're going to open a bread store, and we're going to make homemade breads and coffees.
As an addict, the odds are against her. But she thinks she's got a fighting chance.
Check with me next year at this time and see where I'm at. It's not going to be here. I won't be back. I know everybody says that. I won't be back. I don't want to miss another day of my grandkids, my boyfriend, What's left of my life has got to be good.
Down in booking, a new shift is getting started.
Y'all got to get this criminal to fuck up. Y'all talk about you. You prefer Northerners or Southerners?
I don't prefer nobody.
New inmates, new cases, new trouble.
You sit on the floor at your house?
Get off my shoe.
Do you understand that?
For Deputy Wade, the inmates just keep coming,
Do you understand?
with too few hands to handle them all.
When we let you out of here, you're going to go with the program instead of giving the deputy a hard time?
I didn't do it. The other guy did it.
But no matter the numbers, the job is always tough.
Oh!
It may be packed at the Sacramento County Jail,
Understand that. Don't move till the door shuts.
but there's always room for a few more.